Hey, this is Kaizoku Uncharted. We're a couple of siblings tell the vast sea of anime. If you think this is the crew for you, set sail with us each week. I'm Jakia.
And Justin.
Alright.
So, the Elusive Samurai. Jakia.
Yeah.
This is the topic for today.
It's true.
Did this come out summer or fall?
This came out in the summer 2024.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And what drew you to this?
Well, as we mentioned in last week's episode, illustrations, the graphics, that's what pulls me in. And so, the cover was pretty great. I was like, what's going on? What's happening?
Sure.
And then, I thought it was interesting that, like the title, because normally we're just like, what a title is really about. Because, sometimes with anime, these titles can get pretty long and outrageous.
Right.
But this wasn't. It was straight to the point. It was Elusive Samurai. And so, yeah, I don't know. So then, when I saw like the trailer and stuff, it was focusing more on like hide and go seek, and I was like, what? This show is not going to be about literally hide and go seek. But I was like, curiosity is piqued. It's there. So yeah. And And I like to read a synopsis. I know you don't believe in reading synopsis. So, so after I read the synopsis, I was like, well, this show...
Oh, I thought you were about to read it now.
I can if you want me to. I can.
Completely up to you.
Okay. Alright, so Tokiyuki, a carefree 8-year-old noble, is content with a serene life in Kamakura and shows little regard for the serious responsibilities that come with his eventually succeeding his father as the next shogun. Instead of dedicating himself to rigorous training in swordsmanship or archery, Tokiyuki excels in the art of evasion, skillfully dodging his advisors and discovering perfect hiding spots. However, his peaceful existence is shattered when a sudden coup brutally wipes out his clan. That's all I'm going to say for right now. So yeah, I was into it.
Makes sense.
Alright, so what were your thoughts? Because this show was my pick, so...
Well...
How did you think about it?
At first I was like, this is, I don't want to say freaky, some weird stuff at first.
Okay.
Like some of the visuals were kind of weird.
Okay.
I was just like, okay.
I mean, you know what, we didn't mention this last week. That's what I forgot to put in my notes for Blue Lock.
Mm-hmm.
Bandai is coming through with, like, animes and stuff. Because, like, Bandai did Blue Lock. And then Bandai's also involved in... No, Bandai's in the other one. But Cloverworks is in this one. Cloverworks! So I was excited about Cloverworks. Because they've done some really good stuff. So, yes.
I just didn't know about some of the, like, it would be like, okay animation at first, and then it would just, like, take this weird turn.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you're tripping on something.
Yeah.
And then, like, throughout the show, I mean, it dies down a bit, but then it would be stuff like the focusing on that one guy's eyes.
Yeah, it was strange. Like, they were putting, like, a heightened sense to, like, their different abilities, and I was just like... Yeah. It's a little weird. It was a little weird. I was like, all right.
But, I mean, other than that, the synopsis basically explain, episode 1 got betrayed by our trusted allies. Even our uncle.
Yo, he could go in the book. I was like, can't stand him. Yeah, you got the book over there. Yeah, the uncle is the worst. Like, he did not hesitate in throwing his other nephew under the bus.
Yeah,
and
I felt bad for him.
I felt bad for him because I was hoping that the older brother of Tokiyuki would live.
Yeah, I wanted him.
Yeah, he was a
around.
Yeah, he was a kind guy. I think his name was Kunitoki. Who knows? But yeah, that's not what happened. So there was a whole coup, because they're trusted. Let's call
it what it is. The Lubu of this world.
I don't know if he's Lubu of the world. Oh. Well, maybe
this
he is.
This dude is bad.
Okay, cool. All right, fine. All right, yeah, he is. Takuji. I guess we're calling him AKA Lubu of this world. Dynasty Warriors reference.
I mean, we can call him his regular name. I don't want to get no attacks. So yeah, but Takuji, I don't know, like episode 6, I was like, Takuji is a bad...
He's a bad man. He's a bad man. But basically what happens, he he went in for the long haul, like he was playing the long game. And he was like, everyone was like, oh, he's great. He's one of our top samurai. Like, we can rely on him. I feel like he was. Because
I don't know if he truly has a plan. I think things just come to him.
I mean, well, you know what? That's a true statement.
Because he doesn't even think he thinks he's uniting everyone under peace.
And he's not.
Just jumping a bit, he paints Buddha.
Yeah.
And his brother didn't want to step in the room because from afar we see... Because even then, when he was showing all the strokes, I was just like, man, it's a lot of strokes just to do Buddha. And as we get the whole out scene, it's basically showing a beast
that's
trying to devour Buddha.
Yeah.
And
but all he can see is he's just like focused on Buddha the whole time.
So yeah, that's why I'm just like, I'm not too
That's a good point, because I'm over here thinking like, oh no, he has a... Because like the way they made it sound was like, hey, he was in the pocket of the emperor the whole time. That's what it made it sound like. So it made it sound like he was always in allegiance to the emperor. He wasn't a fan of the shogunate. And... Right, so that's why I was like, okay, well, maybe he has been planning it this whole time. Because even throughout the story, when the Suwa shaman, like the priestess man, he's ratchet, by the way. Oh. I think he is. He's outrageous. He's a menace to society. But no, when he was even talking to, like, Tokiyuki, he was like, oh, do you recognize this person? He was like, no, I've never met any of Takuji's, like, people. This must have been, like, before. So that's why I was like, well, maybe he's been setting stuff in place the whole time, because even when it came down to like everyone being like, hey, Takuji said he's going to promise me this, and he was like, well, you've been serving me this whole time and you've been helping with this whole coup, so that's why I thought he had a whole plan. But you're right. I mean, that's a good idea. And then don't forget,
there was parts of it where people wasn't aligned to them, didn't have any feats, but they were going to be so tied up in handing out stuff.
That was fantastic.
So that's why I was just like, I don't know if there's truly a plan unless the plan is chaos.
I mean, the plan might be total chaos, but I think that's where Takuji brings in his brother, who is seen as more of like the logical person that actually is more, that has more strategy.
Has a plan.
Yes, who has a plan. Who knows what that plan is, but he has a plan.
And then, well, I mean, I don't want to call something iconic, but the scene where he, like, drops him in the battle, and he has to be elusive to get away, I was just like, hey, you didn't want to believe it, so this will wake you up.
It really will.
But, we end up getting 2 retainers, and I'm all for it. Like, this is when I start, like, slowly, I was like, okay, we're kids.
Yeah,
growing into,
and they're like
leadership.
all like 10. Like they're around the ages of 10. Like we have to be aware. Our main characters.
I thought they were like 9 through 11.
Tokiyuki's not even 10 yet. Like there's a prophecy of how he's gonna be that great leader when he's 10. So he's not even 10. But yes, we get 2 cool retainers. Who know their stuff?
Ayuko. And they're great. I didn't really understand the priestess so far.
I know. I'm still trying to figure out, like, what's your role? Because I feel like she just showed up one day.
Also, I was like, are you his daughter?
No, I don't think so. I think just because of his, like, we don't find out till later, but he actually has, like, a proper territory.
Right.
So, who knows?
And then it's just... Would you just call it a bunch of hijinks as we proceed to get... Because, like, I was... I'm glad he had the same prophecy.
Yes.
When we go to the town, I was not a fan of the dog abuse in that one game.
No,
he was like...
I'm glad that they weren't, like, sharpened arrows, because it took me a second. Right. I was like, no, we're not doing this. But
even he put this out, like, oh my God, the dog abuse laws in the
future. He's like, I am so going to get canceled for this.
It's like, thank you for realizing this.
Absolutely.
But he hit this that one neck shot, and I was like, okay, that neck shot, though. And I don't know what to make of this guy.
Oh, Asadamune?
Yeah, like, I guess
the one with the bug eyes.
Yeah, I guess he's like the local kingpin we're gonna continue to deal with.
He's giving me Team Rocket vibes. Yeah, like it was because like they're just like, oh, he's not gonna show up after losing to him, and then he's the next thing he's like, hey guys, and they're just like, oh my gosh, he's back.
And not to mention his mouse friend with the mouse. Right. He's like, whenever you run across these kids, nothing but trouble.
Nothing but trouble. And that's a good point, because I'm just going to say, like, these are grown men that are going all in on these kids, and they flexing about it. I was like, yo, this is nothing to be, like, proud of. But at the same time, they're being defeated by said kids, so it's getting wild. Like, but no, fan of these two retainers. These are actually good retainers. I have hope for us.
We meet Gimba.
Gimba is also ratchet, and he's a total menace to society, and I like it.
Interesting.
He is. You don't like Gimba?
First, well, I mean, I couldn't help myself but put stupid Gimba. If you weren't running your mouth trying to teach us a lesson, we wouldn't have been found out.
That's also true, too.
Right. Because he was just yapping it up. Making enough, and then we got a guy, mouse ears. We got people listening. I know
that was so weird because mouse ears like, I hear two children. I was like, how? I was like, where are you right now?
Yeah, it's like, where are the guards? Right. Why are they at the front gate?
Like, where are they?
So he has they have reliable people on their side too, and it's almost crazy because there's logic there, because that one lord who ends up showing up is like disregarding what they're telling him, like, we're losing this battle because of you.
The one at the very end who was like focusing on the eyebrows.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get his name. I'll get it for us later. But yeah, he's also a menace.
But yeah, we see more Takaji, and the prince of the emperor. He's like, I don't trust you.
I love it. I love the prince is just like, who are you? This is all suspicious. I'm not going to welcome you into my father's court. And immediately he just like, he just like attacks him. And even Takaji's like, why is it every time you see me, you're trying to like...
Because I know you're going to you're coming for the emperor.
Right. He was like, it's so
like, no, I have nothing but love for the emperor.
Right. He was like, don't worry, we'll be alone in a second. He took out all those people. That was crazy.
Love Takaji's retainers. Those two dudes, you can just tell, like, they can go.
Yeah, they mean business.
They can throw. I was like, okay, all right, we're doing this.
Yes.
And yeah, like you said, he was like, hold on. He's like, I want there to be minimum bloodshed. And he like kills all of the people with the prince, except for the prince. And it's like, try to have a conversation.
Right, and then the townspeople come, and then the prince is like, yes, the people are on my side.
He's like, yeah, we can get them together.
And then immediately they just bogart the prince and don't pay him any attention. They're just like, Takaji, are you okay with me to take him inside? And then he's like, don't take him into my father's house. It was the whole thing. And then he's just smiling. He's just like, I'll see you later.
It's one of your classics. The prince just needs help.
He just needs a little help. He really does.
He just needs some help.
He just needs some help. But yeah, so we finally end up getting Gimba because he was successful in his job. He was successful, and
he got us the seal.
He got us the Imperial seal. He already knew that was what was being asked. And then, but I will say,
did he destroy it? I wanted to ask you that. Because the house, with the place where it was stored was put on fire.
It was put on fire.
They were saying, hey, show us the seal, or why are we listening to you? Because the other part is like, why don't we have the seal in our possession so we can do stuff with it?
Right.
So that's why I was like...
I actually don't know. I felt that. I thought he took it because he looked like he put something inside of his like coat pocket. But then this is where I talk about he's a menace to society. He burned down the whole thing, and he didn't have to. He didn't have to do that at all.
Well,
and even
got them thinking.
And it made them run back. It was funny though while they were chasing them out there because the mouse ear guy was like talking to Sadamune, and Sadamune's like, "Why is he speaking to me so casually?"
Yeah. That was like, the running joke.
He couldn't let it go. He said, "What's this about?" He said, "Why are you speaking to me so..."
He was so close.
He said, "He's so close. He just speaks so casually." I don't understand. But going back, before even Gimba accepted the job, it was hilarious how he was like, "Hey, I'll do it for this amount of money," or something like that. And then they're just like, come on. And then Tokiyuki's like, oh my gosh, you're such a humble guy. I thought you were going to ask for more things.
So I thought you were going to ask for territory.
Or like, I was going to give you a province, but you know what? And then Genba's just like, he has money.
Let me think about this.
And he was like, well, and then he was like, all you wanted was money? That's fine. I can totally do it. And I was like, this is great. But as we continue onward and Genba becomes one of our retainers, like, Genba's like, no, there's a bill here. And he keeps adding to it. Hey. He said, you need to pay me. And he's just like...
The services add up.
I know, but he's keeping tabs. And he's, like, being very consistent the whole time. So I think that's great. I also like the fact that he has a retainer that no one else really has right now. Because everyone's still in the samurai era. And so those who are ninja aren't really... like, prioritized or seen as useful. And now Sadamune is like, who is this man? What's going on? The warehouse is on fire. What are with these nasty tricks? And Genba's like, anything goes. So, yeah. And that's great. So we're building our little team. We're building our little party.
Right.
And later on... because it's, like, constantly, like, a running gag. We're constantly running into, like, Sadamune.
Yeah.
And then there gets to a point where we go out on a mission. And Suma's not happy about it. Because, like, everyone's like, hey, all our scouts are out. Let's, like, what are we going to do? And then Tokiyuki's like, hey, we can go. And then Suma's like, no, this is the time where I can't tell if things are going to work out.
Right, that apparently no one knows that there are times where he loses his abilities.
Right.
And they're like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine. And then...
oh, well, before we go on that mission, we get Fubuki.
Well, no, we meet Fubuki on that mission. Because that's the same mission where the kids, and then we meet that one guy who's wild.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah.
But they try to overly dress us and over-equip us. And
because they were just like, oh, we only need this. You only need a couple of things. And then Sue was like, a whole carriage. And he's just like, take this. And they were just like, no, that's not what we're doing.
Like, what's wrong with him? It's like, I thought you couldn't afford rice and all that stuff.
Right, it was a whole thing. And so we finally meet, so we get to this town where all the parents have been, like, defeated. All the parents were killed. And so there's nothing but kids. And so they don't know this yet until they get there. So, like, they approach this town in the mountains. And immediately, this kid comes out of nowhere and starts laying hands.
Hey, 2v1.
It was a 2v1.
He can do it, Will.
He can do, yeah.
He ain't no joke.
He's wild. And all we see in the background is just, like, fires and stuff like that. And then... I don't know if it was Genba or the other kid who was like, man, this town is like the worst. They're gonna let an outsider handle their battles. And then he was like, they're children. And then they were just like, oh.
Well, I like the part with him like, we gotta end this quick before they get over here. Like the fire's moving closer.
And then we find out, no, that the fires weren't getting closer. It's just like,
hey, that trick was working on air.
It really was.
It worked on those adults when they came to take the
Yeah, so Fubuki basically, like, taught the kids how to, like, protect themselves in the event, like, stuff happens.
He's a tactician.
He's a skilled one at that, but he's, like, perpetually hungry. All the time.
Dang it. I was trying to think, who was that up-and-coming tactician? Not under Sue, but the newest group.
Wait, Lushu? No, wait, are you talking about you're talking about Semai's group?
Yeah, the one who became the fourth faction. Because that guy dual-willed. And this guy dual-willed. That's all I was just... Because, I didn't want to say Semai because he did not dual-wield.
No, he did not. He was rocking
and
his
I was like, to keep the thing going. But, so we come to find out from Fubuki that this is actually a prime location.
It's a good vantage point.
Right. And no one has yet to realize it. So, like, okay, cool. And until we meet this, what do you call him, Buddhist monk?
I don't know, because we find out later he not one.
Yeah, we also find out he doesn't believe in Buddha.
At all. But he got people, like saying the chants and prayers.
We find out a lot, actually, in this, because it's like, this was like our first real
battle.
Yeah, because it's like the young Lord's gonna fight him 1v1.
Yeah.
We have the retainers versus his top retainers. Fubuki had already realized he's like, you can't keep running, and he's like, oh, I thought you wanted to fight over here. That way everyone didn't know you were the strongest one.
Oh yeah, well, that one.
I was like, oh, this is about to be good.
Yeah. No, so it was a pretty good match, and then we also learned that Fubuki teaches Tokiyuki how to like wield a blade because he can't.
What's it called again?
I don't know. All I know right now we're calling it the cowardly attack.
Yeah, I know what they call it.
Yeah, and Tokiyuki's like, it's not that.
It's like the pacifist slash or
something. Or something. Oh. It's something.
And it's genius.
It is pretty
good.
It's
basically blood law.
Basically, and he totally underestimated that because he was like, it's fine. He said, I'll be fine. I'll end this before it happens. Before I even like lose consciousness. And he didn't.
Their fight was, as he was like swinging, he's like, saying, as he was dodging his attacks, eventually he was like, he's even dodging the blood splash.
I know, I saw that too. And I was like, I said, this is too much. Yeah, but his name's Shokan. Yeah, so Shokan was just like underestimated everything with the blood loss.
But he lives.
He does live.
They found him.
Yeah, Sadamune finds him.
He's so good. He was like, there's blood inside the room.
Because his eyes didn't deceive him.
So that he made sure to say, he was like, no, I need someone of your caliber serving under me. So that's why I'm like,
I also like how he reprimanded him. He was like, ain't nobody tell you to kill the villagers. How are we supposed to just collect taxes?
Hey, he be thinking about stuff.
He does. He's just like, I'm trying to make money from these people. What are you talking about?
I wonder if he would ever betray Takashi. Because he's putting together a little crew.
He is. He is putting together a little crew. I don't know. I don't think he has it in him to do it.
So intrigued.
I don't know. I mean, look, I think Sadamune is definitely someone to watch. And the kids also agree. They're just like, what are you doing here? Like, when they all came across each other again, he's like, what are you doing here? And they're like, that's our line. You need to get out of here. Constantly getting into it. And I was like, someone needs to act like the adult here, and it's not him. But yeah, so that was a pretty good battle. It was really good.
And then, Kojiro, he had that other general battle with when they tried to save... Basically, how that one little village was like, they're ready to die.
Oh yeah, the faction.
I was like, man, we need these people. We need numbers. So
we do need numbers, and then so this new town. So like after we came back, we were successful, and then we had another moment, and so this time only the boys went because they're just like, hey, if the girls go, it's not going to be a good situation, and so basically, we come across this, like you said, a settlement or village, and all of the samurai are ready to die. And so they're just like
real samurai.
Like real samurai, they're just like, hey, they don't foresee themselves winning. They weren't trying to win. None of that. And Sue was like, he was telling Tokiyuki, like, you need to convince them to retreat.
Kia, that one basic guy with that one basic base. He was just like, he kept stabbing at one guy. He's like, we're getting out of here. All right.
No, I was just like, this man is wild. The fact that they were all like daydreaming about like, oh, this is how I'm gonna meet my end. And he was like, this is what I'm gonna do. He said, I'm gonna like chew out the intestines, all this other stuff. And they're just like, oh my gosh. And he was like,
well, he was the one we gave the letter to. And he was like, and the young love was like, at least there's someone come around.
That's civilized. Then we find out he was like
He's the most unstable.
He really is.
This dude was wild.
I think we got a name for his name. His name's Yuki. So Yuki.
His name's Yuki?
Yeah. So Yuki's that guy.
I want to see more from Yuki.
I feel like we will because Yuki was in it for the long haul.
More Yuki. Please.
More Yuki screen time. Absolutely. Yes.
We're gonna need that guy.
And he'll be there. That's the thing.
Yes.
He'll be there. He's just like, say less. Like,
I love when Kojiro was just calling people by their features. And he was like, how do you guys all know my name anyway?
Because he was like, hey, you, focus lines. He said, what? And then he was just...
But those four were pretty good, too. And they were, like, trying to help and take down that one general officer. And I was just like... And finally, Kojiro got it. He was like... Fighting with a group's pretty good. It's pretty fun. And I was just like...
He said, I get it.
Yeah, he got that kill. He was like... I was like, okay. I was like, all right. We're starting to make a name for ourselves on the battlefield.
Absolutely. It was funny, though, how Kojiro thought he was going to be tied down the whole time. He said, oh, man, I'm going to have to do this and that. And then Tokyo, he's like, yeah, just do whatever you want. You can be a free agent. Yeah. It's fine.
It's like, you do what you see fit.
And then he was like, Gimba, you can just, like, let them know that we need support. He was like, I get to live.
He got out of there.
He immediately got out of there.
Yeah, like, we did bring the backup. I know. What are they called? The shoe gauge? I love it. It's like, we can't deal with the shoe gauge numbers. We're trading. They don't mess around. They gotta be getting out of there.
Yeah.
It's almost like he wants to, I don't want to say he wants to start a war. He wants to take their stuff, but he's like, they have numbers. Like they have some type of forces. We don't want these issues right now.
Absolutely.
And he's trying to always outsmart them.
Yes.
And I thought it was a pretty good show.
I thought it was a good show. Like, my biggest takeaway was, take hide and seek and tag very seriously. Oh, okay. Listen, like, that's one of my takeaways. And, I enjoyed the ending. I like the ending. Like, the outro's pretty good.
Oh, I see.
Outro's pretty good.
I'm definitely looking forward to season 2.
Season 2's happening because, like, we haven't even crossed paths with, like, Takuji yet. We haven't.
That's best.
Like,
because I wonder, like, will he just accept us open arms? Or he's crazy enough to just kill us?
He might. I don't know. I feel like he'd be like, he might give us the same Prince treatment. Be like, oh my gosh, how are you?
Yeah, I just want to see his 2 retainers, Takuji's 2 retainers throw, because...
Yeah, because one of them was...
Real.
Yeah, but one of them was concerned, because he was like, you haven't smiled like a person in a long time. So, yeah. And then he had that iris thing going on, too. So I was like, all right. I was like, we're getting multiple irises in one eye. I was like, okay. But do you think he actually is possessed by a demon or no?
I think he's ahead of his time. I think it's one of those things where, like, when people were flamboyant before they knew it, when people were considered eccentric, you know, I just think he just believes it's what he's doing is right, and other people aren't keeping up with the curve yet.
Well, all right, yeah. But no, all in all, I thought it was a solid show. I thought I didn't have any complaints. I don't think we have any weak people on our team.
Yeah, I thought I was seeing that first episode looking kind of weirdish. I was like...
You're just like, you don't know.
And then I was like, whoa, a lot of kids. I was like...
I will say I was a little sad. I was like, all these kids are too involved with all this violence.
I was like, we might be getting out of this one sooner than later. But I was like, by episode 3, I feel like that's when... And that's why we do 3s. Because I was just like, okay, I'm in.
Right.
Like, I feel by 3, you're like, you should know if you're in or out. Mm-hmm. So I was like...
Absolutely.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah, so yeah. I'm in for the show. But yeah, Elusive Samurai, if you watched it, let us know what you think. If you haven't, check it out. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, cool. That's this week's episode of Kaizoku Uncharted.